Hello everybody, welcome to the old Gold and Black for this very short review of today's game in what was a very disappointing Wolves 0, Manchester United 0, and I think that's a testament, and that's the biggest advert for how far we've come, is that we're so disappointed with a 0-0 draw against Manchester United. I mean, there were people leaving 10 minutes before the end of the game because they were so bored, whereas imagine 2 years ago if we'd have got that result, we'd have been dancing in the streets for hours, but a very, very disappointing game. I can understand Nuno's wish to rotate the team, but personally, I would have started Jimenez. But I can understand why he rested him. Obviously, that leads us to the main topic of conversation today, which is Patrick Cutrone looks pretty much nailed on that he's left Wolves. Arguably one of the most underwhelming and disappointing signings in the Fosun era, particularly under Nuno. It just didn't work out. He was a young lad coming from Italy, having left Milan for the first time in his life. You can imagine it was a difficult thing, but he didn't really settle. I think it was telling, the goal that he scored against whoever it was recently, West Ham, that when he celebrated, he sort of taunted Nuno with his celebration, and then there was a rumour of him and Nuno having a bust up on the coach on the way to Liverpool, I think it was last week. So it's been coming for a long time. Disappointing that it didn't work out, particularly with the hype that surrounded him when he came in originally. And then when we went to Turin, I remember talking to a couple of Italians as well, and they were saying that he's the big hope for Italian football. But then if you consider that that Italy didn't qualify for the last World Cup and they didn't do particularly well in the last Euros, they're not the Italy that once were one of the big forces in world football. So it's disappointing, but it really emphasises the lack of depth that we have in that position, because now we've got, Benny Ashley Seal had to play today, and he started the game okay. 5 or 10 minutes he looked well, and he was closing down shots, and he had a couple of runs through on goal, but he just didn't look interested. He didn't look like a Premier League player, which unfortunately for some of these younger players who've been at the club for a long time, while we've been down in the Championship for all that time, now that we're moving on, I think we've probably moved on too fast for somebody like Benny Ashley Seal. I can't imagine him ever really challenging for a Premier League starting place, which must mean that Wolves are going to sign another striker, because we can't go on for the rest of the season with just Jimenez and Benny Ashley Seal. I know that Jota probably could play that central berth, but I wouldn't really like that. Kilman, I thought, played another really good game. I think he's settling into the team now, and he's playing more minutes and more games, and he's looking more comfortable on the ball. I remember saying at the beginning of the season that he just didn't look right, but I think he's obviously listening, he's learning, he's quite well protected as well in that position. He's got Johnny or Vinagre to his left, and then Cody on the other side of him, and Neves dropping in as well. But January's here. Wolves are definitely going to be making signings. Personally, I'd be looking for a right wing back as well, because I thought tonight Doherty looked exhausted. He's played so much over the last couple of weeks. I was half expecting Oscar Burr to be given a go today because of how hectic the schedule has been and how many games Doherty's had to play. But he just looks exhausted, and there's a couple of times I saw him wincing when he was going for runs and things like that. He doesn't look completely himself at the moment, which, I don't know, there's something lingering perhaps from what happened from the beginning of the season when he was out for a long time, or this knee injury that he supposedly had over the summer. It's something that's not right with him at the moment, and hopefully he fixes that. But yeah, I haven't mentioned the game itself because absolutely nothing happened. There was no real events of any note or anything that, they hit the bar, we hit the bar. Jimenez did a ridiculous Rabona that was completely unnecessary because he's just got no left foot. It was nice to see a couple of rows in front of me. There was a group of about 4 or 5 Mexicans wearing Club America shirts who must have come over all that way to watch Jimenez and to watch the Wolves, and that's something that we're going to have to become used to as Wolves fans, and something that we've spoken about for a while is the tourism thing and making Wolves a marketable product across the world. And we've done that with Jimenez, and the latest rumour is that we're going to sign Hwang from Salzburg, who is of South Korea. He's from South Korea. And and obviously if you follow the Premier League, you'll know that Heung-min Son, who plays for Tottenham, has been a huge marketing opportunity for them, and they've expanded their South Korean fan base massively. And when we went to Wembley last year to play them, there was hundreds and hundreds of Asians there, which was, I suppose, good, but then it affects the atmosphere. But that's another conversation for another day. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on Patrick Cutrone in the comment section down below. I also want to hear some limericks of Patrick Cutrone. I was just trying to think of one in the car on the way back. I got as far as there once was a striker from Italy. I don't know the next line. And then, don't know the others. He couldn't score goals, so then he got sold. That's the tale of Patrick Cutrone. Something like that. Anyway, thank you very much. I won't blame you if you didn't click on this video. But anyway, cheers. Bye.